What's good, analysts? What's good, my guy? You want to come on the show? You want to talk some trade talk? What's good, family? What's good? We're going live, man. We're going to be live for probably about, 45 minutes to an hour. If that, get my opinion out there to Hawks Nation. All my Atlanta Hawk fans out there. All right, I got you, analysts. I'm about to send it to your Twitter. Check your Twitter. What's good? What's good, everybody? It's your boy. I'm back in the building, man. Back in the building. What's good? We got the analysts in here early. We got Dave here early. What's good, Dave? What's good? What's good? Boom. Dave said, what's good? Y'all tell me what's good. I know this live is we streaming late tonight. But I wanted to kind of wait till the late evening time, just to make sure I didn't go live or make a video and then the Hawks come out and make a move. So that's why I'm streaming so late tonight. I'm with Dave. No lateral moves. Okay. Let's not trade our good players for somebody else's trash. You feel me? Let's not do that. I appreciate your support, Dave. I appreciate it. We got to show that. We got to show Dave showing love. Let me bring on my guests. Y'all know him, the Atlanta analyst. You know what it is, man. Let me bring my guy on. Let's set this up. Let me set this up. Boom. All righty. There you go. Got my boy analyst in the building. What's good, my guy?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling and anxious for the deadline tomorrow.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. My guy. I don't expect no major move. Okay. Yeah. I've been reading. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Reddit. I'm everywhere trying to get information. And according to Travis Slink, like he said, man, we getting phone calls, but these teams not moving the dial. Okay. Yeah. John Collins. Hey, I don't care what Hawk fans say, but across the league, John Collins is a hot commodity. He's a hot commodity. So obviously these other teams must see some stuff in Collins that some of these John Collins hating Atlanta fans don't see. Okay. Yeah. I love that we have a general manager where I'm not really concerned of him doing something silly like the Sacramento Kings did. So, I'm very confident in that. And I know he's not going to trade none of our core unless we getting, as Dick Vitale used to say, unless we getting a PTP. Off all y'all young cats of PTP, that's a prime time player. Okay, somebody who show up in big moments. You feel me? So, what you got, analyst? What you got, baby?
So, yes, I totally agree. I don't expect much to happen tomorrow, at least not with us. I think it's actually overall around the league, it's gonna be a busy trade deadline.
Right.
But I think that the most we maybe do tomorrow, and again, minor things. Maybe we uh, move a player to this night in the rotation for a draft pick. We clear up some cap space, or maybe we upgrade it at the backup point guard position if a good offer comes by for Gallo. I can see something like that. I saw something earlier to where Utah, before Utah actually made their trade today, I saw something where Utah offered us Joe Ingles' expiring contract along with Rudy Gay, and that. And it interests Travis, which it shouldn't have, because essentially you're just getting Rudy Gay, which is not a clear upgrade over Gallinari. He's shorter, and you're getting Rudy Gay, who won't even play for you. So, obviously Travis is going to continue to listen. I do think that a deal does come by tomorrow, but it's going to be really minor to where it just helps us. It just kind of gives us a little catapult,
Yeah.
kind of like we did last year.
Yeah. Hey, man. Sometimes the small moves is what you need. I mean, we can go back to last year and see we wasn't no major players at the deadline last year. We was under 500 at the deadline. We was 14 and 20 at the deadline. Okay. Made one minor move, and we did make a major move, but it had nothing to do with the trade deadline by getting rid of Lloyd Pierce and letting Nate McMillan take over. But as far as the players, we just made minor moves. We added Lou Will, some offense on the bench, to strengthen the bench. And sometimes that's all you really need at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? You don't always need we got to go after this superstar. Because let me tell you something. Superstars, when you're going after these superstar players, it's going to cost you all your young players. It's going to cost you all your major draft picks to get these guys. So, I mean, let's look at our team. I mean, at the end of the day, and I'll keep saying the same stuff over and over again, but what's good, Isaac? But all we have to do is just play some damn defense. If we protect the perimeter, guess what? Our record is totally different. It's totally different. And, I do like that our general manager does dabble. I don't know how much of it affects his decisions, but I do like that he dabbles in analytics. You know what I'm saying? Which, he goes back and he looks and says, guess what, guys? After that win yesterday, since that Cam Reddish trade, we was what? 9 and now we 10-3 since the trade. So you got to take that into consideration. You feel me?
He's that guy that looks at plus minuses after every game and breaks it down. So if he doesn't see something he likes, he'll address it to a player. If it doesn't change, best believe that player's not going to be in Atlanta for too long.
Yeah, so let's see. Dave said, please hold on to Jalen Johnson. He could fall back. He could be a fallback plan in case none of this stuff work out. Man, listen. What I've noticed about Travis when it comes to our young talent, at the end of the day, you might lose a player like a Jalen Johnson if the correct, NBA proven player come along. But one thing I noticed about Travis, he don't give away our young players for nothing. He gonna get what he paid for in return. So, you want a Jalen Johnson, you automatically know, hey, you finna run us these first round picks. Okay. And since we picked him up in the lottery, not the lottery, but since we picked him up in the late first round, guess what? We don't want no second round picks. Okay. We don't care how many you give us. You understand me? So I got complete faith in Travis not giving away our young talent. You know what I'm saying? If he does, I guarantee you we're going to be getting a real good return on that young talent. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about Jalen Johnson there? Matter of fact, they played last night and won not last night, this morning. For some reason, they got these boys playing 11 a.m. games in the middle of the week down at College Park. So they won today. I think Jalen Johnson had 17 points, like 7 rebounds. So what you think about holding on to Jalen Johnson?
Well, I think that definitely if you can, I would. I don't know about it being a fallback plan because ultimately I do think that if it doesn't work out, you're still going to have your guys. You're not going to go out there and trade all your
Right.
guys for one guy. So if it doesn't work out, you can keep Collins, keep Trey, move some other guys if you need to. But look, I don't think this thing is going to fall apart. I think this thing is actually going to come together. And look, I do think that we're a serious playoff contending team. So Jalen Johnson, I think that right now he should stay developing in the G League. And once we have a spot for him to become in the rotation, which
Mm-hmm.
it probably won't be for a while, but once we do have a spot for the rotation, I think that he's gonna really be developed and good.
That's what. Hey, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Okay, Isaac the GOAT. What's good, Isaac? Isaac coming in talking about he heard the Hawks looking at Gordon Hayward. Bro, how old is Gordon Hayward? He probably old as me, bro. What can Gordon Hayward now? If we was talking about Gordon Hayward coming from the Utah Jazz, then you got my attention. But what do we want with? I mean, how many games has this guy missed?
And Gordon
Now,
Hayward's currently injured.
yeah. So unless he got
And
like an expiring contract, I don't even see why he would benefit
nope,
us. You know what I'm
nope.
saying? I mean, unless we could get him for like the low, like a second round pick or something. But
That
then you still got to go look at his salary.
Yeah, I'm looking at his salary right now. He's pretty much making um, $30 million, 3 years left on his deal. He's injured right now. That's gonna cost us. That's gonna cost us
Bro,
Bogey, Lou, and
why
then
would we pay 30 million for a dude on the other side of 30 and he always hurt?
3 years left on his deal. He's
And
31
he
years
got 3
old.
years left. Oh my God. Hell, not just no. Hell no.
Oh man, I
No
agree.
wonder they trying to trade. They stuck with that contract and an injured player. He missed so many games, man. Like it was to the point in Boston. It's like he was just coming off the bench. He got to be like the most expensive bench player in the league, man. Heck no, Isaac, you better Hey, just like Gordon said right there, really? Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I knew it as soon as I heard Gordon Hayward. I look, even if Gordon Hayward was good, and if he was even what he was in Boston,
Mm-hmm.
there's no way I'm gonna meet, let alone their asking price, and I would have to match salary somehow with giving up multiple pieces. That would not be unless I had a piece to match salary with one guy, there's no way I would give up multiple guys, and you're
Okay.
probably even looking at draft picks depending on what their asking price is. So
Yeah, yeah.
there's no way I'll make a move for him.
Nah, man. Like we used to say when I was a kid, man, I'ma have to pass like Steve Nash, baby. Gotta get him out of here. Okay, we got once a Nick in the building. What's good, Nick Nation? Once a Nick up in the
Now,
building.
hey, speaking of the Knicks, I have an offer that I would propose to the Knicks tomorrow if I were Travis. Just thinking about where the Knicks are at this point in the season, they stink. They are it's the truth. They're not going to the playoffs. They want to get rid of Burks and Fournier and those guys. So I was like, well, what can we give them? Because I've been preaching upgrade at backup point guard position. I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking maybe we move DeLon Wright and a second round pick um to the New York Knicks, and maybe we get an Alec Burks in return. I looked at his numbers, very pretty consistent numbers. He's had a couple of 30-point games this season. Burks is really good, but he's definitely got to looking to move on from because they just have veterans mixed with a whole bunch of young guys, and it's not going to work for them.
Well,
So I was thinking that could potentially be a move that we make tomorrow.
I mean, hey, I follow a lot of the Knicks I follow like some Knicks YouTubers and stuff. And at the end of the day, bro, the Knicks about to blow it up. I mean, their season's over with. They hate Randall. They hate pretty much everybody. But I was thinking, if they're gonna blow it up, how come let's kick the tires on Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose about to come back off injury. He was giving the Knicks major minutes. As he even had to start for him at one point during the playoff series with us. So I kick the tires on Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
If Derrick Rose can come and give us, a good 15, 20 minutes a night, I send him a listen. I sent him that Charlotte pick, top 18 protected.
Look, that Charlotte pick's gonna be valuable to other teams, but we don't need 3 first-round draft picks in a year. We don't even have the roster spots to draft 3 prospects. So whether we move those picks tomorrow, during the draft, in the offseason, we're not keeping just Charlotte pick, the OKC picking our own pick. That doesn't really make any sense. So yes, I would actually give them that Charlotte pick back for Derrick Rose. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Rose can come in. He can come and help us. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. Dave put out some important information right there. Hold up. Dave said done, and he just re-signed a 3-year deal. Yeah, but hey, look it up real quick. Can you look that up real quick, analyst? What's D Rose deal? Because I mean, D Rose, bro, he was balling on us in the playoffs. And like I said, we don't need him to play 30 minutes. We don't need him to play 25 minutes, Dave. I mean, you don't think adding a D Rose as a backup to the backup wouldn't help the team? Because one thing about this though, Dave, and let me know if you agree or disagree, Dave. DeLon Wright, when DeLon Wright has to come into the game, we get no offense from that position. He gives us really on the offensive side of the ball. He really give us nothing. He don't space the floor. He's not an elite passer. I mean, really, I think we just went and signed him for the defense. Because really, what does he do? He come down, dribble the ball, and just pass it. Like, I don't even think they guard him. Next time I'm gonna watch him closely and see if the team even guard him when he hit the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think a D Rose will be what. Let me say it like this: adding D Rose couldn't hurt us.
No, definitely not. He's a leader too. And by the way, he's that leader that we've been dying for. But to answer you on his contract, he did sign that 3-year extension. He's $13 million. That wouldn't be too hard to match. You're looking at
no, that's easy, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at DeLon and Gorgie, and then you can have the Charlotte pick. That's plenty enough.
Yeah, and I mean,
New York.
Go ahead.
Special. New York feels special enough to get a first-round pick for a aging Derrick Rose. I mean, obviously, that's an easy, salary to match. We could easily get Derrick Rose if we needed to. But I want to say this one thing here, and it's a problem when you have your coach saying that he doesn't even run plays for your backup point guard. He said the offense runs through either Lou or Gallo. That's a real issue, especially you're going to find the issue in the playoffs and in big games. If you can't depend on your backup point guard, who is supposed to be that guy when Trey's off the floor, he's supposed to be that scoring pot for you and that initiator. If he's not involved in the offense, if he's not involved in that second unit spurt, that's going to be an issue that we're going to find. And I'm actually going to take a hot take here. There's no way DeLon Wright's on this roster by tomorrow.
Oh, well, I could tell you like this. If DeLon Wright is not on this roster tomorrow, that means we are getting a point guard. Point blank period. Because we don't have a backup point guard. Lou Williams has shown he cannot play the point guard position effectively. We saw that in the playoffs when Trey went out. So, and Kevin Huerter, who I thought he was going to groom to, be able to handle the ball and, set up the offense and distribute the ball, it's been a pretty big disappointment. You know what I'm saying? I really thought he was going to do a whole lot better, But I mean, at this point, 'cause this is what for Kevin, year 3, year 4. So, I thought he was gonna be doing better at this time, and obviously he's not. So, if we trade DeLon Wright, we need to be getting a point guard in return. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Because we cannot go with Lou as our backup point guard. Hold up. We got another one right here. The analyst Isaac said, how you feel about Montrezl Harrell? I mean, listen, man. Montrez is okay, but bro, he is undersized. I know he's a hard worker,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna tell you
He,
like this: go back and watch the Milwaukee Bucks series. We don't need to get no smaller, okay? Because in that series against the Bucks, we got killed. We got killed on the boards in that series. We was minus 30 overall on the boards, and that's what really killed us. You know what I'm saying? So if you go get Montrezl Harrell, well, I mean, think about it. We already got a Montrezl Harrell, like double O. He do the exact same thing, and he undersized. So I mean, we don't really need a Montrezl Harrell. But don't get me wrong, he a good player though. What's your thoughts on that, analyst?
so Montrez, I was sitting here debating in my head. I was like, well, if we get Montrez, we're most likely going to end up giving up Gallo. So I'm thinking, I'm like, Montrez is undersized. He's shorter than Gallinari, and he would be one of the shortest ones out there that we have on the team as far as the 4-5 position. One thing I will give the Montrez is he's physical. He's that grit grimy guy that you're not going to just push around. And I've seen Montrez, score, but it's not very often. Montrez can be one of those players where it's just like he's just there, not doing anything. And there's just
Right.
and then there's some games that he can be on. I wouldn't go for Montrez. I mean, I wouldn't waste it. I wouldn't waste my assets on Montrez Harrell. I feel like there'd be a better guy that we can go out and get out there if we're looking at addressing that particular position. But again, my focus is on upgrading at the backup point guard position.
So do you have any other point guards in mind that's available for trade? I mean, you know
So,
what? A good. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say I was thinking about Burks, and I thought about. I don't know what your thoughts would be on it. I don't know how Hawks fans think about this. A reunion with Dennis Schroeder. I
I
know that
mean,
Dennis Schroeder can get to the basket. He can get you a bucket. And look, we're not looking for some starting point guard here. We're looking
right,
for a guy. We're looking for a guy that, like you said, can give you 15, 20 minutes a night and can give you about
Mm-hmm.
10 to 14 points. Someone who's going to be involved in the offense. Someone who like. If DeLon Wright has the ball at the end of the game, we're all sweating because he's like, you made a shot all game. So
Right.
if we can put our trust in a guy like Schroeder, now how does that work? We have picks again, so we can make a Dennis Schroeder work. So I'm thinking Alec Burke, I'm thinking Dennis Schroeder. I'm thinking some of these guys that teams are trying to get rid of to either avoid the tax or to go in a different direction. Goran Dragic is just way too expensive. I was thinking about him as a buyout or a trade. The only guy that we can match salary with him is Danilo Gallinari, and that would make no sense to trade your backup power forward for another guard when you already have DeLon and Lou right there. So Dragic is too expensive. I'm actually going to go out here and look for some more point guards that we could possibly get, but right now I have those two in mind: Schroeder and Burks.
Okay. Chat, what y'all thinking about Schroeder and Burks? I give you my thoughts. My thoughts on Schroeder and Burks would be first thing with Dennis Schroeder. Is he willing to be the backup? That's the first thing you gotta ask him off rip because
That's a
let's
good
be here.
question.
Let's be real here. Dennis is looking for a bag. He didn't get the Laker money. Had to settle for that almost a vet minimum. I think he had $5 million per year for this one season. You know, so if he's willing to be a backup, cool. I don't know if he's willing to be a backup because he on that 1 year deal. He trying to get paid. So you have to have a serious conversation with him and his agent, with Travis Wood. And as far as who was the other guy you said?
Burks.
As far as Alec Burke, man, listen. Nick fans hate that guy, man. Like, they think he is terrible. Like, they don't even want him on the team. You know what I'm
But
saying?
I don't know why. I mean, Burks, I've watched him for a long. He hurt us in game 2
Yeah, he hurt
against them in that
us.
series.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
hurt us. He don't hurt nobody else. That's the problem. I mean,
yeah,
that's like going after Malik Monk. Yeah,
yeah.
Monk he ball on us, you know. But
I was actually about to bring up Malik Monk and ask your thoughts about Malik Monk. Would you go after a Malik Monk? We couldn't really give it the Lakers anything that they would just say, yes, this guy's better than Malik Monk. But again, the Lakers, if we give the Lakers that Charlotte pick and maybe a second round pick in the future, the Lakers could feel like they're special and they could use that down the road. But I'm telling you right now, Malik Monk is a scoring pop. Again, we don't need.
I can see the Lakers. See, their problem is they don't have no more first round picks. They trade them all away. So I could see them, that first round pick will get their attention. Because at the end of the day, they wouldn't do nothing but take that pick and flip it into another player anyway. But
yeah,
I don't think they're gonna get away with Malik Monk, mainly because besides AD and LeBron, he's the only consistent scorer on the team that that they can rely on. You know what I'm saying? Now, hold up. Let's see what they're talking about. Dave said, hold up, chat. Let me catch up. My bad. Okay, Dave said, can we start being honest about Dre's ceiling? I need Dre to tell Trey to get the F out the way sometime. Well, you know what, Dave? Hey, I mean, not Colin, excuse me, but Hunter, at this moment, like, he really doesn't excite me. Maybe it's because of his style of play, maybe because he plays slow, kind of boringish, but he hasn't done anything to where I'm like, yes, this guy is going to be who we think he's going to be. You could say because of injuries, but at the end of the day, it's all about that performance you put on the court, what you put on tape. What's your thoughts, analyst?
I do want to say this about Dre. Dre does not spark me off as a person with potential of being like the next Paul George or the next guy like that. First of all, he can't dribble. That's a huge no when you're talking about we can't even trust you handling the ball. Now I'm going to say this. At least with Cam, we knew that we could trust him with the ball going down the lane. DeAndre, we can't trust him. He's turning the ball over. He's kicking it off his foot. He can't catch the ball when Trey passes it to him. He's running back after it. Dre, lately, I don't know what's been going on with him on the defensive end. He's getting blown by a lot of guys. Like yesterday, he tried to guard Lance Stevenson, and Lance Stevenson was taking it to the hole on him.
Yeah.
So just disappointed in Dre. But I'm not, I'm not looking to trade DeAndre. But if the right offer comes by, I would certainly look at it. But look, again, I'm not looking to trade DeAndre again. DeAndre is going to be all right. He's good for what he is. He's probably not going to get that much, if we do extend him. But, to be honest, thinking about Dre's ceiling is good, but I don't think his ceiling is that high.
Oh, I agree with you. Well, at least until he learned how to dribble. But Ethan says, I heard the Hawks want to trade Collins. No, the Hawks don't want to trade Collins. The Hawks fans want to trade Collins. It's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to me, trading Collins, unless you're getting an all-star player back, man, trading Collins, I mean, you're really not going to get the value in return if you're not getting an all-star. I mean, Jeremy Grant is nowhere near as good as John Collins is, especially shooting the ball. Only thing he has over John Collins is being able to attack the basket. But, I mean, let's be real. We don't really ask our power forward to do that. And he shouldn't have to do that considering we got two wing players who should be doing it. But you know what I'm saying? But I mean, and plus, you trade away a John Collins, in my opinion, it makes Travis look bad. How you gonna sign a guy to a max contract and then trade him less than a year later? So it makes you look like you don't know how to evaluate talent. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would be thinking. So you gave this dude all this money just to trade him. Which, if you was gonna trade John Collins, you should have traded him last year at the deadline if you was gonna do
Yep.
anything. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Don't max him out and then try to trade him because now it makes it harder to move him.
And even
Now don't make
then,
them. It makes it easier to move them when you talk about trying to move for an all-star or all NBA type player. You know what I'm saying? Because he had
yeah,
25 million. That's easy. He could you add a couple more million, you can almost match um almost all the superstars salary with a couple more $1 million. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
the Hawks don't want to get rid of Collins. I mean, look at his numbers. And be on the lookout tomorrow, guys. I'm gonna make a video about John Collins because I don't think some of these Atlanta Hawks fans, John Collins is. I've been a Hawks fan. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I've been an Atlanta Hawks fan since 1987. Okay, so I'm letting y'all know how old I am. I've been a Hawks fan since '87. Okay, so he's probably. Let me think. I can't think of nobody else. He's the only person I ever heard who said, "I want to be in Atlanta." I've never heard another star player. Hell, I ain't even heard Trey Young say that. I want to be an Atlanta Hawk. I want to finish my career where I started, which is here. So to me, as a fan, lifetime fan, see, that means something to me. I know a lot of people, it don't mean nothing to y'all because you like, well, we don't win nothing, blah, 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 blah. But I tell you like this, guys, somebody had to set the foundation of your organization.
Yes.
Okay. Somebody got to be the building block. And I don't mean just on the court. I mean pushing Collins around the type of player who pushes the coach's agenda. If the coach can't get it across, John to be like, I'll tell him, coach. You need that to build your organization. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that would just automatically equal a championship, but that's a very important piece to have. You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts on moving Collins, analyst?
Not gonna happen, and nor do I want it to happen. John Collins is look, he by any means, John Collins is not a superstar. But John Collins is one of those guys that I will only move for a superstar. Uh,
Exactly.
John Collins is one of those guys where it's going to be hard to trade him and match his value or get a little bit better. It's going to be very hard to do that. And look, Travis was never ever serious about trading John Collins, and John was never. Look, I listened to Travis speak on an interview last year at the trade deadline, and someone brought up, did you receive did you see calls about Collins? He said, look, we had no serious conversations, nor conversations at all, nor was he available. We had no conversations about moving John Collins. He said we have great value on John Collins. If they didn't have great value on John Collins, they wouldn't have paid him and extended him for 5 years.
Right.
So they clearly have faith in John. They clearly want John and Trey to work, and I think it is working. People are just overreacting it. They're overhyping it. They're over here talking about, oh, Trey and John, they don't like each other off the court and this and that. Look, that's not that's
That's
not the case.
terrible.
Like if you listen to, they did an interview when they first got to Atlanta, saying how they were hanging out with each other, they were doing cheat day with each other. So I mean, look, John Collins is not going anywhere. No team is going to be willing to offer what Travis will even consider fair for John Collins. So if no one's willing to offer that, we're not moving John Collins. And I have a little small update pertaining to you know the particular player, the team I was just talking about. We were
Mhm.
just talking about this. I just read something that says the Knicks have made their whole entire roster for sale tomorrow. And
They blowing it up, man. They
they,
blowing it up. I
as
mean,
they
we could swoop
as
in
they
there, man.
should.
You could
Yeah,
scoop a D Rose for the low, bro. You
yeah.
could scoop a D Rose for the low. Who else they got that's available? I mean, don't
Well,
need Mitchell Robinson. He'll cost too much. They'll want too much in return for him. I
yeah.
would love to have him as a backup. I mean, don't
Well,
want Fournier. He's old and he costs a lot of money. Kemba
he's no better
Walker.
than
I
Bogey.
mean, Kemba Walker wouldn't be bad if I could get him for like 2 seconds. But like once again, guys, I don't need him to play 30. I need Kemba. I get a Kemba Walker or D Rose. I just need it from about 15 minutes a night, man.
That's
About,
true.
about 15 minutes a night. And I know Kemba, he on a cheap contract too. I think he around 6-7 million a year right now.
Yeah, 8. Yeah, he's on a 8 million. I believe either 1 or 2 year deal. But let me tell you one thing about Kemba: the high risk at getting Kemba Walker.
Okay,
We see right now that Lou Williams is out.
Right.
Obviously, he's getting older. He's at the end of his career. He's having all types of issues now, which I expect to get Lou back here pretty soon. But you can't depend on Lou, as we can see.
Right.
Now you're talking about getting Kemba Walker, who can't play back-to-backs, and any given night he could be out because of his knee. So the potential of getting Kemba, giving up, yes, the bare minimum, but you're giving up something for Kemba where when Kemba's going, he's going, but the risk that Kemba could be out along with Lou being out is extremely high. I tell you what, there's 2 guys who I would target in that Knicks organization, and that is D Rose, like you said, and Alec Burks. I feel like those 2 guys would be not a big move, but a small move that would help us tremendously. And to me, Fournier is just like he's no better than Bogey. I think
I don't want Fournier, and he make big money too.
Yeah,
making a lot of money.
It would make
I'm
no
good
sense.
on him. So let's see. My boy Chip, what's good, Chip? Chip said he just got
Chip?
here. Good news. Charlotte lost.
Yes.
Awesome. So let's look at the standings, guys. So with the Charlotte loss, guys, that just put us, we're 1 game out of the 9th seed. 1 game out the 9th seed, 3 games out of the 8th seed, and that's Brooklyn, and they're just going to keep losing games until they get everybody back. So, I mean, guys, when you look at the standings, we are not, considering the season we had, the rough start to the season we had, guys, these losing streaks, home game losing streaks, we are not bad, in a bad position at the All-Star break. Now, if we was like Orlando, Indiana, who's like the Knicks almost 10 games under 500, then, I would be concerned. Maybe then you do look at trying to make a big splash to make a run, if possible. But, guys, we are 2 games under 500. We are not doing that bad, considering the season we've had, What's your thoughts on that right there, on us being right now we're in the 10th seed, 2 games under 500, and just what? 2 games under 500 and 2 games out of the 8th spot.
Look, I have all the confidence in the world that by the end of the season, we are going to be a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference. I have full confidence. I still feel in my heart that Boston is not going to continue to play the way they're playing right now. I feel like their schedule gets tougher. With Charlotte, the bad thing is that Charlotte has an extremely winnable game next against Detroit. So we have to beat San Antonio. And then we play Boston afterwards, which we're 2 up on Boston. But they try to seem to play us tough up until the end. So hopefully, we can beat them. But look, Brooklyn, again, like you said, is going to keep losing until they get their guys back. So the idea of us sliding into the 8th seed fairly quickly is not a stretch at all. And then I'm looking at a lot of these teams. Look, let me put something in perspective. Like you said, despite the season we've had, do you know we're 8.5 games out of first place?
That's it, man.
Like that's it.
That's it. That's
Um,
it, bro. You know what I think it is? I think it is. This is what I think. This is my opinion. I think just like a whole bunch of other Hawks fans, we took that conference finals run and our expectations for this season was just too big. Like every group I'm in, people were saying 50 win season. Some were saying 60 win season. So I think a lot of fans just disappointed because we probably thought we had something. And at the end of the day, what we didn't take into account is that guess what? Other teams also are going to get better. So
mhm.
you take like for example, you take when I look at the Eastern Conference, right? I mean, you got Miami who's leading the East. Last year, did they even make the playoffs? You got Chicago.
Yeah, but they got swept
There you go. You got Chicago, the number 3 team in the East. Where were they at last year?
at home.
You got Cleveland, the number 4 team in the East. Where were they at last year?
At home.
Where was Toronto at last year? So what I'm saying is we didn't factor in other teams making moves that was going to improve them by so much. And I think a lot of Hawks fans just kind of disappointed. But like I said, man, at the end of the day, at this point, I just want to make the playoffs without having to do a playing game because that's just another game. That's just another chance of somebody getting injured. You know what I'm saying? That we don't have to go that route. Go that route. We can control our destiny if we handle our business.
Speaking of speaking of injuries, last night probably not something that's important to us Hawks fans, but just speaking of injuries and the fact that uh Tom Thibodeau had RJ Barrett in the game down by 20 with 50 seconds to go and he injures his ankle. I mean, that is absolutely that
Hey,
that is absolutely absurd. But
bro, that's a fireable offense.
that's very because RJ has been there. It has been their guy lately.
They was down like freaking 20. What is he
On a,
doing in the game?
on a back
I
to
mean, that's
back.
the dumbest thing, man. I was watching Knicks fan TV, man. They was livid.
Oh
I
yeah, I
was
was
in the
watching it.
chat. They was pissed off. And right then, that was the sign from the basketball gods to tell the Knicks, your season is over. That's exactly what
Yeah,
the basketball god said. Blow it up. Your season is over. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on, bro. So Dave
yeah.
said Dragic stays injured.
Oh,
And he said
yeah.
he want to play with Doncic anyway.
He can go play
I'm
with.
gonna tell you what's probably gonna happen with Gorn. They're gonna try to trade him. If they can't move him, he probably gonna ask to get bought out so he can go and sign anywhere he wants to. So that's probably how he gonna make his way to Dallas. Dallas not gonna trade for him because they are if what you say is true, Dave, they don't need to trade for him. They're gonna sit there and wait. They're gonna say, hey, go request a buyout. Now, obviously Toronto don't have to do it, but why wouldn't you get him off your books? You know what I'm saying? Get him off your books, clear your cap space. You know?
Nor does Dallas have the movable assets to match his salary. And I want to just for a couple seconds, I want to
Go ahead.
touch back on what you were saying about the expectation thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did have high expectations for this team, but I did also know the Eastern Conference got tougher. I just thought that, look, I thought, we would be better than these teams.
Uh-huh.
I did have us being a top, finishing out a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. I thought that it would be tight. I said every seed, every team from 5 down are going to have close to identical records. But
Mm-hmm.
I knew that the Eastern Conference was getting tougher, but I really did feel like the Hawks would just be too much for these teams, which now we're starting to see that they are healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Dave says, do you guys think that Trey is aiming for one of my all NBA teams? We're talking about additional 32 million. Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, but you know
Why wouldn't
what,
it be?
Dave? I don't think he's doing it for the money. This was my thought process. This is what I get from Trey Young. I think Trey wants to go down as one of like the top players ever. So I think the money aspect is just part of the game. You know what I'm saying? But I think he really values trying to be one of the best players to ever play basketball. And you know, like I said, the money when you on that career path, that trajectory, the money comes with it. And a good general manager would already be budgeting that extra 32 million into the cap. Now, let's remember, it's not 32 million for a season. It's the 32 million over 5. So instead of what's his contract? I think he signed at 175. If you go up to if you make any of the all NBA teams, it goes up to like 200, 210, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and his contract kicks in next season. So this season, he's still on the last year of his rookie deal. So next year, that you're gonna have John at 25 million, you're gonna have Trey at 30 some $million, depending if he make the all NBA team. But also remember this, guys, the media selects the all NBA team. So you mess around and he might not make it. I mean, look at last year, guys. Last year, he didn't even make the all-star reserves, and the game was in Atlanta. So, when the media involved, guys, you don't know what could happen. What's your thoughts on that, the analyst?
And I thought it had a lot to do with who the assistant coach was on that on that all-star team.
Yeah.
And on look, Trae Young has always been underrated, underestimated. He has never been given enough credit. And I think that, to be honest with you, I think Trae Young deserves to be all NBA. Will he get it? No. No. People, the media still has in their mind Luka over Trae. So once you take Trae Young once you put Luka over Trae out your mind, then it starts to just tumble over. You start to tumble over Trae with other guys who are going all NBA. Then Trae Young is always excluded out, which that's typical for a market like Atlanta, a small market,
right.
Where we have a guy where everyone thought that he was going to be out of the league in 5 years. And I think they're just mad that Trae is better than Luka.
Yeah, because you got to remember, at the end of the day, the NBA is just a big old corporation. The NBA job generate revenue, and you take somebody like Luka, you don't really have that many white superstar basketball players right now. I mean, you could almost count them on your hand. Bird, Chris Mullin, then you got to go way back, Jerry West. When you start thinking of white superstar ball players now, Gordon Hayward was on that type of path, but he's fallen off. So Luka Doncic fits the marketing scheme of the NBA. And plus, he checks a lot of boxes. Okay, you got your white superstar in America playing ball, but also you could take Luka, promote him where? Overseas in Europe. You know what I'm saying? You're hitting that market. Just like they push Giannis over there. Just like when Yao Ming played, they was pushing him heavy in China. You know what I'm saying? So, the NBA is just a big old business. All right, so we got Kyle Lowry. He not gonna be available, GOAT. Come on, Isaac. He played for the number one team in the East. Why would they get rid of him? And they just got him this year. So there's no way they would get rid of Kyle Lowry.
No, there's no way to get rid of Kyle Lowry.
Yeah,
especially
you gotta be looking for you gotta look for these teams that's blowing it up. Indiana blowing it up. Okay, they just traded Sabonis, got Halliburton. Be watching it out. Like I told my homeboys, I said, watch out, Tristan Thompson. I put money that he's gonna get bought out. Because remember, when these teams blow it up, they don't want to take on a lot of salary. You see what I'm saying? Especially unless you're an expiring contract, they don't want you there. You know what I'm saying? Now, I got to look at Tristan Thompson's contract, but if he's not expiring and he's an older player, so he don't want to be on no damn rebuilding team, and Indiana starting from nothing. So I'm sure he's going to request to get bought out guys. So you can look at that. Look at Portland. Portland just broke up the McCollum and Dame combo. They about to blow it up, man. It's just a matter of time till Dame Dollar is dealt. He may not be dealt at the deadline. Don't be surprised he get dealt in the offseason, especially if Philly can't get Harden. So be on the lookout for that. Start looking at these teams that's blowing it up because those are the teams you can just send them anything. First round picks, second round picks. You can send them anything because they just trying
They'll take a second round pick.
Yeah. They just trying to dump salary. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm going to confirm for you, Tristan Thompson is on a 1-year deal.
Boom. So he probably gonna say, "Hey guys, just buy me out." So if he a 1-year deal. If he making $10 million, the Pacers probably be like, "Listen, we'll buy you out. We'll give you $4 million." And he probably gonna be like, "Okay." He probably gonna be like, "Okay," because remember, Tristan Thompson already made his money. You know, he got that big contract when he was still in Cleveland, so he made his money. You know what I'm saying? So think of all these other teams. Who else blowing it up? Sacramento Kings. Who else they got left over there? You know what I'm saying? Who can you fleece off of the Clippers? They not going nowhere. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, both hurt.
Well, I thought about Reggie Jackson off the Clippers, but it seemed like the Clippers they just won't go away as far as contention wise because you got to think they just added Norman and Covington to go next to Kawhi and PG next year, and they're gonna try to do something this year, which they don't look that good. I mean, Ty Lue is a playoff coach, and look, I did look at Reggie Jackson and you were talking about other rebuilding teams. It makes you want to look. What is Washington could possibly be a rebuilding team. What can you get off Washington?
Because you just saw, word is Bradley Beal is going to take season-ending surgery, so they're done for. If you take that surgery, they're done. So, and that's who you need to be poaching from them. They the ones they throwing in the towel. You know what I'm saying? So when people bring up stuff like Marcus Smart, bro, the Celtics are still in the playoff hunt. Why would they give up Marcus Smart unless they getting something better in return? So
and we're not willing to give up that.
Exactly. So that's why I'm not even big on Marcus Smart because I'm like, that's not realistic. Now, unless Marcus Smart came out and demanded a trade, then you can kick the tires on it. Then you can kick them tires. But until then, hey, that ain't happening. What's good, Drummer Boy? Drummer Boy's in the building. He says, well, you're right. Dang, when you put it like that, still our trajectory is a lot better than the teams right around us. I expect we'll move up to the upper part of the plane. That's the plan, man. I'm hoping. I don't see why we can't move up to the 8th or 7th spot.
Same thing, John Boy.
I don't see why we can't move up to the 8th or 7th spot. Like, we want to avoid that play-in game, bro. It's just an extra game. You don't want to be playing no extra games. You want to play just as many as you need to win your series in advance. You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts on that, analyst?
That same thing the players were saying, and Nate said, he said, we want to play ourselves back into this playoff picture. And he said, I don't mean play in. He said, I mean top 6 where your playoff spot is sealed and confirmed. Now I do want to sprinkle a little something out there. I want you to give me your thoughts on it, and I want the chat to also give me their thoughts on it. How would you feel, depending on the price? How would you feel if we had discussions around Spencer Dinwiddie from the Washington Wizards to possibly come off the bench, which he served that role, I think, 1 or 2 times. Maybe we give up some first-round picks and we match some salary with some guys who aren't even playing. Washington is not going to get anything more from that from any other team. And they're not going to get another hot value guy coming back, and they'll be lucky if they get a first-round pick. But so what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, we could use Dinwiddie. I mean, Dinwiddie does something our wings don't do. He can attack the basket. You know what I'm saying? He can get us. He a bucket go getter. Now, when we get off of here tomorrow, I'll start looking at his numbers see where we could use him at. But like I said, you know, a player like that, if he can be half for the low, you know what I'm saying? Why not? Obviously, we got to look at his salary because, the owner, he don't want to keep paying, this luxury tax for a team that's not contending. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think getting a Spencer Dinwiddie and bringing him off the bench, I think that strengthens up our bench, But once
For
again,
sure.
how many players is Nate going to play? I mean, right now, he only playing 9 players. So, I mean, we get somebody like that. Is he going to be able to play? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's
That's
see.
why I don't see Travis bringing in extra guys for guys who are not even in the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, you don't want to end up like Cam Reddish, just sitting on the bench. Okay, Drummer Boy said the Hawks may do what the Braves did. Nobody thought they were going to do anything. I think we have a great chance of getting this. Hey, you got to remember this, Drummer Boy. The Hawks did it first. We just didn't win the championship. Remember, we was 14-20. Right when, what was that, February? So what's that? That's spring training. That's when pitchers and catchers report. So the Hawks actually made their run. They started the run last year, running it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Then you got the Braves coming on strong. Then you got the Dogs winning the national championship. Well, they supposed to win. Goddamn, Georgia's supposed to win. But then you had the Braves, who everybody thought, the All-Star break, especially when Acuna got injured. Oh, the season's over with. So, like we already know, man. You just have to make it to the playoffs because anything can happen when you get there. But if you can't even make the playoffs, let me tell you like this, guys. If we don't make the playoffs, somebody need to be fired. Somebody need to be traded. I don't know if it's a GM, it's the coach. We're going to have to trade some players, but something's going to have to give.
Let me put this out.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, let me put this out there. Look, a lot of people say I'm very protective of Travis. Look, I think it takes a lot. It's going to take a lot for Travis to even be considered to be fired. If we don't make the playoffs, that will not fall on Travis because it will be in result of what the players did not do. Look, Travis didn't extend Clint Capella, expecting Clint Capella not to miss layups and expecting Clint Capella to be soft and weak. I'll tell you like this. I don't even think we won't make the playoffs. I think we're definitely going to be in the playoffs. But if we so happen to not make the playoffs, I think Travis is going to, first of all, make a serious change to the roster, but also he's going to take a long stare at Nate McMillan.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Travis is going to be. He is responsible. I'm gonna tell you why. Because he's the one. Because let's keep it real. The owner really don't care. Okay, that's why he hires a general manager. That's why he hires a president of basketball operations. What the owner cares about is, why am I spending all this money and we're not getting the results that I want? Owner want championship.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't make the playoffs. The owner gonna look at Travis and say, so I just invested 125 million in the Collins. I invested 60 million in Herder. I invested what did we give Clint? That extension, what was that? Another 40 million. And we didn't make the playoffs. Like, that's on the general manager right there. That's why I said something gonna happen to somebody. Now, I don't know what the relationship is between Mr. Wrestler and Travis. But I mean, the owner's gonna have some. I mean, if I was the owner, I have some questions myself.
Yeah, and I do agree with you because the GM is responsible for putting together the roster. But look, I feel like every move, I will even look at free agency, and somewhat trades when we brought in bigger guys like Clint. We did the best of what was available. So you look at that year we signed all those guys in free agency. There was no other realistic guy guys that we could have gotten that would have been better than what we did get. And there is no there was no better available center at the time other than Clint Capella. Maybe there are some other guys, but weren't as good. So I feel like, again, if we did not make the playoffs, to be honest, I would take a look at Travis, but I just feel like it would take a lot with all the moves that he's made, the way he's built this team from the ground up, from basically being a team that had a whole team on expiring deals and had to basically, again, build it from the ground up. I think it would take a lot for Tony to fire Travis.
Hey, I mean, you could be right, man. I could be wrong. Dang says, haha, are we going to be in the top 6 or not make the playoffs? Take a side. I'm always on the side of making the playoffs, bro. But let's not be, let me tell you something about me, man. I'm not one of those unrealistic, silly fans. Like, if we stink, I'm gonna say we stink. Okay. Yeah. But what I said was we just need to make the playoffs. Let me tell you something. I don't care how we get to the playoffs. I'm gonna be honest. Do I want to play a playing game? No. But if that's the only way we can get in, I'll take it. Okay. But I think we're going to get in the playoffs. I ain't never said we're not making the playoffs. What me and Anna was saying was who would be held responsible if we didn't make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what okay, I got my boy DJ Incog in here bringing that fire slank. He says Travis invested in role players. Wow. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh man. Incog said Hunter nowhere near making an all-star team. Incog said we drafted Reddish instead of Tyler Hero. Oh boy. Okay. Incog.
Wait, I know Incog is not mad at Travis because he fired Lloyd Pierce.
That's what he's saying. That's what I used to say. That's what I used to say in the Hawks group that me and Incog me, Incog, and Chip, we all in the same Facebook Hawks group. You need to come in and join us, man. It's New Pack City. If you're not in New Pack City,
send me the link.
You need to get there. It's on Facebook. Just go ahead, pull up New Pack, type it in New Pack City. It's the only group called New Pack City in that zone. But Fire LP, that's my little slogan I was using all last year up until we fired him because I thought he was a terrible coach for us. But let's see. Go ahead, speak on the analyst.
I was just gonna say, look, DJ, 18 teams passed on Tyler Hero. If people knew how good he was going to be today, he would have probably went number 1 overall or number 2. Look, Tyler Hero's okay. I mean, Tyler Hero he's not the second coming of Steph Curry or Devin Booker. Look, Tyler Hero's okay. He can shoot the ball. He can't play any defense. So I mean, and then you talked about Travis invested in role players. Who else were you going to sign? I mean, if you literally go back, I want you to go back and look at the 2020 free agent class. No one else was available other than role players, and we signed the best role players to the best contracts that we could. Because look, Gallinari is only guaranteed $8 million next year, so we signed the best guys at the best time. We weren't going to wait another year, and then guess what? Are we supposed to bet on a big time free agent coming to Atlanta? Are we supposed to bet on DeMar DeRozan? Are we supposed to bet on Zach? We're not gonna. Those guys aren't coming to Atlanta. So we got the best that we could, and now if things go into panic mode, now these role players are becoming valuable trade assets. So look, I'm not gonna go back and forth, but I'm just gonna say this: we did the best we could with what we could do, and again, with the Tyler Hero thing, if 18 teams passed up on him, he's just a shooter.
See, with Incog, you got to understand how Incog move, right? Everything he says is hindsight. You know what I'm saying? Like, we drafted, he's talking about Garland as an all-star. Let me tell you something. I ain't seen Incog mention no Darius Garland when it was draft time. Okay? So he's just saying he's speaking out of hindsight. I mean, trust me, if Travis had a crystal ball and they said Garland was gonna be this, Tyler Hero was gonna be that, I'm sure he would have took him. But I mean, anybody can speak out of hindsight when it comes to the draft. Like, I mean, come on, man. Who if Kobe Bryant was drafted where? 12, 13, one of them double digits. I'm sure if people thought Kobe was going to be an all-time great, he wouldn't have went that late. You know what I'm saying? And the Hornets, when they drafted him, they wouldn't have traded him. So I mean, anybody can speak. I mean, out of hindsight, when it comes to the draft, I'm sure people. I mean, didn't think Trae Young was going. Shit, I didn't think Trae Young was going to be good, but now I'm like one of his biggest fans. I mean, hindsight is easy, man. It's easy to come in here and say, "Hey, we messed up on this draft." Yeah, you can say that after the fact, but unless you saying it during the draft or before the draft, like that point is not even that's not even valid to me. And then all DJ gonna say, anytime DJ say something to you, right? When you debate him back, all he's gonna tell you is you making excuses. That's all he's gonna tell you. Okay.
Look,
So Incog want to fire everybody anyway. He like Incog be like, fire everybody. Okay, let's see what Jordan talk about. This is gonna be the last question, guy, and then I gotta roll. If y'all want me to, what I'll do is I'll start these streams a little earlier. That way we can stay on a little longer. But hey guys, I'm a dad. I got to get my kid to get him ready for bed and school tomorrow. So let's hit this last one. Do you want to go after a guy like Jeremy Lamb? Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, Jordan. I haven't been tracking Jeremy Lamb. I didn't even know he was still playing, to be honest with you. So tell me something about Jeremy Lamb. I mean, there go Incog shaking my head. Incog, bro, we just looking for some minor pieces, dog. Because we not gonna get. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't think Collins gonna get traded. Okay, and if we do trade Collins, it need to be for a superstar, all-star caliber type player at a minimum. So, who is available for us to go get that would please you, Incog? Because all you say is fire Slink, and then just talk about people we didn't draft. Who should we go after in the trade deadline? I agree with Incog. We are bad at drafting.
Oh
How
my
are we
goodness.
bad at drafting?
Do you guys know that look, we're bad at drafting. That makes no sense.
Bro, we got Trae Young from the draft. You got hold up. Our core players are players we drafted and developed. What are you talking about? And you got and then watch this. Drafted Cam Reddish, right? Traded him, but still got a first round pick for him. Drafted Trae Young. He about to be an all NBA player. He a two-time all-star starter. He led us to the conference finals. You got John Collins giving you 20 and 10. You got Kevin Herter. Like, what do you mean we're bad at drafting, bro? He hasn't missed on one first round pick yet.
And let me tell you what. Look, I'm not interested in arguing with DJ or whoever claims that Travis is bad at drafting. Look, I tell you what DJ thinks and what he looks at. He looks at the player now and not look at the player who we drafted that was in college. Not
Right.
you
Good
don't
point.
even
Good point.
you don't know who worked out better for the Hawks. You don't know who had the best personality in interviews for the Hawks. You don't know any of that. Uh, look, Tyler Hero was probably not that impressive in workouts. He was probably not that impressive over Cam Reddish in college. And then it just so happened that, look, he's a pretty sharp shooter. Look, he's nothing more than that. He can dribble the ball. Look, I was watching when they played Toronto in that triple overtime. Couldn't buy a basket. I mean, look, you act like that we're just supposed to sign LeBron James and draft Luka and Cade. We're not doing that. And you said we drafted Cam Reddish. Look, Cam Reddish has tremendous talent if he gets the right development. He just did not work out with us. I don't
And
think
we
you're
still got a
understand
first round pick in return for him.
exactly. We still got a
He
first round
missed.
pick in return
He
and
missed
cleared up
on
a roster spot.
Spellman. Spellman is a second round pick, though. Am I right?
And who do we pass up for Spellman? I'm gonna look at that.
Amari Spellman was a second round pick, right? So I mean, bro, let me be honest with you. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Me, I don't care about second round picks, man. It's hit or miss. It's hit or miss. You gonna hit on what? Maybe 5% of the second. And let me tell you why we traded Spellman. We only traded Spellman because he wasn't taking his health seriously. He came in a training camp overweight after Travis told him he need to lose the weight. Okay, he came in overweight. That's the type of player you want on your team. So the general manager said, "You know what? You don't want to be a professional. You don't want to take care of yourself like a professional." He got him up out of here.
Spellman
So
ain't
I
even any
mean,
good.
that was it for Spellman. Cleveland got the best front court. Okay, I ain't gonna dispute you on that. I ain't gonna dispute you on that. But you know what, Incog? They not finna beat the Nets if they get full strength. But that's another topic. We could see. You can see Incog always get me to go off topic, man. He always get me to talk about other stuff. Listen,
But you gotta think Cleveland needed a point guard. We drafted Trey Young. Trey Young and Darius Garland in the backcourt would have not worked. First of all, would have been too small, no defense, and at the time we weren't looking for a second point guard. We were
right?
looking for shooting guards, wings, and then we
Three and
had already
D,
drafted
man.
Collins. We had already made up in our mind that we had the assets to go out and trade for a center, and now all we needed to do in the draft was hit on wings. And what do? We did that. You're only saying this because we're 26 and 28. You weren't saying this last year in the Eastern Conference Finals when Reddish was lighting it up in those last two games in the Bucks, when Huter was lighting it up in Game 7 against the Sixers, when DeAndre was playing extremely well against Julius Randle in that Knicks series. Look, development does not come from Travis Link. Travis Link is not out here developing players. That's who Nate puts in place to develop the guys. That's the trainers. We probably did not develop the guys as much as we should have. We don't have a developmental system like Utah or Toronto, but I will tell you what, we're getting the best that we can out of these guys. And to say that Travis needs to be fired and we've made mistakes, look, I guarantee you, no one other than maybe some legendary GM could have done a better job with literally taking this team from the ground up. John Collins is the longest tenure guy on this team. You got to understand that. He literally, when I say literally, we didn't keep some veteran, we didn't keep a guy, built this team from the draft and from the ground up. He did a phenomenal job.
Yep. And on that note, fella, we gonna go ahead and cut this live stream because also I have a job and I have to get up in the morning and work. So, but guess what, family? We're gonna be back tomorrow, man. We're gonna be back tomorrow. We're gonna try to set up. I'm gonna get one analyst. We're gonna see if we can set up a live stream, see if we can get the last maybe hour or two of the deadline. Maybe start a stream an hour before the deadline closes, and we could stream right then and see if we make a move. Unless we make a move earlier. If we make a move earlier, and it's a real move, not like if we trade for like cash considerations or something silly like that. We'll be here live and in the flesh, ready to discuss it, give our opinions. Make sure you're ready to give your opinion. All right. So until then, guys, it's your boy MI4K20, my guest, Atlanta analyst. Make sure you hit them thumbs up so we can get in this algorithm, and make sure you stop by the analyst, the Atlanta analyst. He has his own YouTube page. Stop by there, show him some love. Okay. So it's your boys. We out. We gonna catch y'all tomorrow, guys. Y'all stay up. Peace.